So, of course, after vitamin A, you have vitamin B1 or thiamine. Okay? So, thiamine is a very interesting nutrient, but before I begin, I'd like to start by saying I am not a doctor, I'm not a physician, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a nurse, I'm not anything like that. If you have a medical condition or a medical complaint of any kind, seek the advice and aid of a licensed medical practitioner. Not me. I'm not a licensed medical practitioner. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm not a dietitian, not a nutritionist, not an endocrinologist, nothing like that, okay? No, I'm not nothing like that. So, vitamin B1, one of the first most obvious signs of vitamin B1 deficiency is what's known as beriberi. And beriberi, of course I wrote this stuff down so that I remembered it properly. Beriberi, it can be divided into a couple different kinds. There's dry beriberi, which in its early stages causes burning in the feet, diminished reflexes, and weakness in the arms and legs, as well as muscle pain and tenderness and difficulty rising from the squatting position. Number 2 is wet or cardiac beriberi, which is characterized by edema, rapid heart rate, enlargement of the heart, difficulty breathing, and ultimately it will end in congestive heart failure. Cerebral beriberi, which can cause vernix encephalopathy and Korsakoff's psychosis. These diseases, which generally come together, cause abnormal eye movements, abnormal stance, abnormal gait, and ataxia, cognitive impairment. If left untreated, they will result in irreversible neurological damage. There's gastrointestinal beriberi, which causes a decrease in the activities of thiamine-dependent enzymes and will lead to acidosis and nausea, vomiting, severe abdominal pain. Inadequate intake can be caused by eating a high carbohydrate diet. People that do not know or are not familiar with the Atkins approach to health, he is a very staunch advocate of the dangers of a high carbohydrate diet. And there are actually a lot of dangers to a high carbohydrate diet, especially a high refined carbohydrate diet, which can cause things like thiamine deficiency, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. All sorts of issues can be caused by, of course, obesity, but increasing refined carbohydrates in the diet, like sugars, white flours, things like that, it can cause the loss of nutrients, and it can result in things like thiamine deficiency, non-alcoholic fatty liver, stuff like that. So, of course, if you're eating a lot of polished rice, that's actually how they first discovered beriberi, was that the polished rice did not have the B vitamins that were present in the rice bran, and the people started getting sick. Breastfed infants with mothers that are thiamine deficient obviously will develop thiamine deficiency because their only food and water sources, their only food source is breast milk. Alcoholism causes it, of course. Anorexia causes it. Several types of like stomach cancer causes it, and of course malabsorption issues will cause it. Increased requirements exist in those that are strenuously physically active, have a fever, are pregnant, breastfeeding, are adolescents, have malaria, have HIV/AIDS, are severely starved, or are following an unusually high carbohydrate diet, or suffer from alcoholism, of course. People who drink high intakes of fluid, okay, and this should be everybody should be drinking high intakes of fluid, can lose excessive amounts of thiamine through the urine because it's causing you to urinate more. And that's the thing, is everybody should be drinking a fairly high intake of fluid, but you need to be aware of the fact that it can cause the depletion of the B vitamins, especially, like, well, in this case, thiamine. Antithiamine factors, which block the absorption of thiamine, are present in tea, coffee, molds, and raw fish. Also ferns, people that eat ferns, it's present in there. The RDA for adults, now I'm going to get into some things when I'm done here. The RDA for adults is 1.2 milligrams for men, and 1.1 milligrams for women, and 1.4 milligrams for pregnant or nursing women. Thiamine may prevent cataracts, diabetes, vascular complications of diabetes. Diseases that can be treated with thiamine include Alzheimer's disease, congestive heart failure, some cancers, metabolic diseases that affect the metabolism of carbohydrates and branched-chain amino acids. Maple syrup urine syndrome is one. Thiamine-responsive anemia. Sources include lentils, peas, brown rice, enriched white rice, whole grain bread products, egg yolks, of course not the white, the egg yolks, oranges, spinach, fortified cereals, wheat germ, and pork. Toxicity, there's no known tolerable upper limit. It doesn't seem to cause any problems. However, a small number of life-threatening anaphylactic cases have been observed with the IV preparation. So what I was going to get at is, as people know, I have tachycardia, which is a rapid heart rate, things like that. Now, they never tested me for thiamine deficiency. However, I meet a couple of these criteria. So not only do I take the thiamine in my multivitamin, but I have started to ramp up my thiamine intake from a secondary supplement. But the thing is, which ones of these do I meet? Well, I actually do consume a lot of tea and coffee. Another thing is some of the food sources of thiamine, such as spinach and some of those products, they need to be cooked in order to absorb the thiamine, because if they're not cooked, these thiamine, these anti-nutrient factors are present that can be deactivated by cooking. You know, the carnivores are always going crazy about the anti-nutrients, but they can be deactivated by cooking. And honestly, that's all for this video. Hope people are liking these videos. Check the links in the description. There are a lot of great links. Most of this is based off of the Linus Pauling Institute article on thiamine. And, of course, there's links to other things and some studies and things of that nature. Anyway, that's all for this video.